Welcome to Darren 67 to 72. I'm Darren, and this is a 1968 C10 in bright white. But it doesn't matter what truck you own. Today, I'm going to focus on the corner window of the truck, specifically a 68, but I believe they're all the same. Let me take you over and show you one of the biggest questions I find on YouTube, and I did before I started this. Even on the C10 forums. People are worried about where do you get the rivet? Why are they so expensive? You got to get a special tool. Got to find a way to get in there and hammer it. I've got all those answers to how I think it should be done. It's way easier. Don't take that word wrong. There's nothing about this job that's easy, but it's doable. And it's a step by step thing and it's not a problem. It's pretty classic to see a truck that has one wing window, they call them, one of those door wing windows done and the other one not. It's because it takes so long. People get frustrated with it. And by the time you get one done, you don't feel like doing the other one. I fell victim to it myself. My Spanish gold truck, I only did the driver's side. I'll get it done, but the passenger side is surprisingly good. Yeah, it's an excuse. But now I've got this system worked out where it's not that bad. So let's show you some of the highlights. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing in this video. There's going to be a lot of clips because it does take some time. Now today, I'm not going to paint the frame and let it dry for 2 or 3 days and come back and assemble it because I want this video to be all in one. Normally, I like to paint inside the tracks and all. I don't know why. They're 55, 58 years old. They're not rusted out now. So I don't think there's any reason to worry about it. Let me show you the key point that people are really frustrated with. Okay, right now we're looking at the 1971 C10 in Spanish gold. So we're going to replace this rubber here and around this triangle. This rivet right here is the one people are concerned with. If you grind the bottom of it out and push it out, I mean, that's fine, but now you've got to find something that, to me, should look right. Well, nothing will look more right than the original. So I leave that intact. If you choose to grind the bottom out and tap that out, you'll have to go buy the new rivets and a rivet tool, and you'll have to find a way to finagle this window, I'll show you on the bench, and be able to hit this and drive it back together. The other problem is if you do leave it too loose, it can rattle while you're driving if it's open. If it's too tight, it just makes the wing window hard to use. So I just leave it alone, and I'll show you my trick to that when we get to her. So let's get over there. Let's start off with the tools that are going to be required for this job, or at least these are the ones I use. You're going to need a classic 1/2 inch wrench, a punch or 2 or 3. You could use a screwdriver. I won't be using a screwdriver today. I use one of these. I don't even know what they're called, but it's a plastic, I don't know, pry bar. Basically, it's designed for replacing windshields and such. It's very stiff. It won't break on you when you're using it. It's going to make the job way easier. They're like $3 if you buy one. I suggest you grab one. It's nice to have a putty knife. I like a 5-in-1, wire brush, a razor blade, and probably a pair of needle nose pliers. Also nice to have some kind of window cleaner. Doesn't matter what brand. Excuse me. Maybe some lubricant. You're going to need a drill to drill out some of the rivets. And then this board and C-clamp is just dependent on what surface you're working on. You'll see when we get to that. But this is basically what you need. Oh, I didn't mention. You'll need a pop rivet gun and a handful of pop rivets. The first thing you need to do is take off, and I already did it, this spring and that nut on there. It just basically has a keeper, a wing keeper you can bend back. Take your time. I've never broke one, but lube it up with whatever chicken spit lube you like. Doesn't matter, water would do it because you just want to loosen that rust enough that it can come off. The next part's where it gets a little complicated, getting this window out. So we're going to work on that now. So what we have here is this 68 wing window. Now the first part of getting this window out, now that we have that bolt loose, it has to come out this direction. And this is the rivet we've been talking about. And this one has already been ground off by somebody who probably was going to do this job before. But that's not a problem. We can just put a couple of spot welds on it. I don't want to finish pushing it out. Grinding this can also grind your glass. Instead, I take the window and turn it on its edge on your table. You can use a drill, or I like to use a cutoff. I didn't show you guys that, did I? Most everybody has a cutoff. It's just a little easier. So eyes and ears. All you want to do is take the heads off of that, just so it's shiny and smooth. The next part is just getting your punch out, whatever style you use. I sometimes get away with just using a centering punch. We'll see how that goes. I don't think that's going to be enough. Oh, that one went right out. So, not a problem. This one here, I don't know, maybe a little more grinding. Should tap right out. Sounds loose. There it goes. Now that takes loose this hinge. Instead of grinding the outside part where everybody can see it and you have to figure out how to put that back on, this spot will be bolted inside your window or your door. That's the door part and your door track. Nobody will see the replacements and you'll be original on that rivet and you don't have to fuss with it. The next part is a little bit complicated, but it's easy once you figure it out. If you just try to pull this window out, it doesn't want to go because of this washers inside of here. Let me explain that real quick. What you have in that particular spot, I'm not sure you can still see it. Let's do them both right in the same. Here you go. This rod right here, it's threaded on the end, has these washers inside. But this part of the window is angled. So when you start trying to hammer, if that's the way you want to do it, and drive this window out, once that washer hits this angle piece, it's going to do this right here. And if you've ever seen a lock like this, it's just a loose washer. Slides on there really easy. But if you put it on an angle, you can't, it'll hold that rod, it won't come loose. And the more you bang on this top, the more that's going to bite. So you can't just drive it out as much as that seems like the way to do it. Instead, let me set this down. I'm probably going to cut the video for this part because you're going to use your fingers. You put some kind of lube on here, doesn't matter what. What you're going to want to do is wiggle these washers with your index finger and your thumb. Let me zoom in a touch for you. These washers right in here, you got to get them loose. You might have to tap them with a hammer or screwdriver or something. I should have my gloves on, shouldn't I? It's just a little finagling and get her loosened off. See, I got one loose. That one's kind of loose too. Very rusty. You're gonna have to work at it. Again, I just pinch the two together with your fingers and kind of wiggle them back and forth as you pull that window in this direction. It takes time. This is a lot of finger work involved in this job. Just push them down, pull that window up a little more. Just keep wiggling it down until you eventually you'll get off the end of it. Believe me. Once we take it all apart, it'll reassemble a lot easier because we can wire wheel this up and get it shiny and smooth. And these washers will come off much easier. We'll go on, I guess. So let me work at this and I'll bring you guys back. Okay, I've finished pulling this out. You should have this odd shaped washer that goes, I'll show you how it goes back in, but it should have been with the large square towards the corner and just a small washer. You keep track of those, you're going to need them to put them back together. So we finish pulling this window out. I've cleaned it up with a wire wheel a little bit. So you can just set that aside. You won't be using that until you're almost finished. And you set it down someplace safe where you're not going to step on it. The next part is getting this rubber out of here and checking out our track. So the easiest way for me anyway is there's connections front and top and bottom, whatever. That's usually a good place you can just kind of start peeling it out of there. These are usually brittle, but you'll find they're a tougher rubber than you ever would have thought. So what happens is, yeah, this is broke apart pretty good. There's like two channels, if you will, and a filler here. It goes inside this track. As you take it apart, you'll definitely recognize what you're seeing. And just pull her out of there. With it. This corner is going to be, you're going to visit that corner plenty. That's the part that when you're putting it back together is not much fun. It should come apart fairly easy. You don't want to bend anything up, but you're going to have to pull on her pretty good to get her apart. Huh? Sure. Make me struggle on camera. Why wouldn't I? This is a struggle. The whole job is using your fingers, prying. I don't know how they put these in GM. I'm assuming they had some kind of press design for this. I'm not having much luck yet, am I? It comes out of there. I don't know why it wants to fight me. Let's just grab it in another spot and see if we can get her going. This is not held in there with glue, rivets, or anything. Well, a little bit at the top. We'll explain that when we get there. So, come on, out of that corner. As hard as that comes out, it goes in harder. I'm not going to lie. This would be a good place to use a screwdriver I said I wasn't going to use. Just because this rubber doesn't matter. Come out of there. Yes, it is possible to hurt yourself doing this job. You have to pay attention to which way you're pushing your screwdriver or knives or whatever you got. There, I finally got that out of there. And the top, again, don't worry about getting it out of there. Just get it out of there. You're going to move this around. It's going to be in your lap. You're going to be pulling on it, using your knees, whatever you can use. Where'd my razor go? I know it was sitting here. There. I just cut this off. You don't want to do that to your new one. Well, you're going to want to do that to your new one, but don't do it. And there's your rubber piece, the old garbage. Actually, surprisingly, after all those years, yeah, it's got some cracks, but it really is holding up quite well. The next part you're going to want to get out is this rubber track. It's riveted in there, and if I remember, the first thought was, "Oh, look at there! Somebody used foam of some sort in there. Looks like that spray foam." That certainly wasn't me. You might think about grinding these heads off the backside, but I found it's better off. You're better off to come in this side with a drill. Now I know the metal's in your way, but you only have to just take the top. I don't know. Can you guys see? Just take the top of that rivet off of there. That's all you're looking at doing. And it should. There's four of them. It won't take a whole lot. It's not. They're not like stainless steel or hardened or anything fancy. But you see, you get the idea. You just want to grind that head off of there. I should have started down there. Let me do that one, and then I'll show you how I pry them out. They come apart really easy. Whoop, drilled right through that one, which is fine. That's why I have my putty knife. Come in underneath that, and you can just pop those. See if I drill this one enough. It should pop loose. If it doesn't come loose easy, drill a little bit more. Now, if your rivet starts spinning, and it happens, the drill bit can catch those rivets because they're not super tight and they'll spin. You'll never drill them out. Take your putty knife, slide underneath that track, and go right up to your rivet. This will cause pressure between the frame and that rubber piece. It will hold that rivet still a little longer so you can drill more. Maybe that's enough. Let's see. It just still don't want to come out, does it? Pretty close. There we go. Now we got two more to go. One here, and this top one's really hard to get a drill in there. So whatever way you need to do it, you can also come on this side with your grinder if you had a new disc in it, and you can grind this side. The problem is the rivet is countersunk on this side. if that's a word, countersink. So when you're grinding it, it's hard to get past this stainless. So I think it is, it doesn't rust, and down to the backer plate. That's why I suggest drilling from this side. I get my drill in there at an angle. You just have to take the head off. Let me finish getting that off, and I'll clean this track all up, and I'll bring you back. So I've got this cleaned up. You didn't miss much, but the inside of this, or excuse me, the outside of this will be seen. And this one was a little rustier, so I did take the time to paint that. And some parts on the inside were rusty. This would be the inside of the truck. So I went ahead and put a little paint on that too. You can paint them later, but I touched up some rusty spots now. So the last thing you have to do, and will be completely disassembled, here on the point end, there's 2 more rivets that need to be cut, ground out, however you're going to do it. Drill them. I used a grinder and just ground the heads off. They're tricky and you might want to avoid it, but I'll show you in a minute why. I think it's worth drilling them out, grinding them out, whatever. It only takes a minute. It just makes a nice job. And I'll show you why coming right up. See if we can get these out pretty easy. Oh, that one's gone. How about this one? A little more stubborn. There it is. So what that's done is it took the top of this triangle loose. Now you can get a little, see what I mean? And I'll show you why right now. So we did get the bottom felled out, whatever you want to call it. It's got metal in it. It's kind of firm, but got that out. Trash. Now we have to get the fun part, folks, which you all been waiting for. So here's our old seal, cracked, ripped. You have to match it. When you get the new seal kit, they come with a left and a right. And you just have to make sure you got the right one. Look at the ends, make sure they match in the same direction. Same thing with this end. Make sure that the rubber flange on this side, this is ripped, but it's the same. There is a left and right. So get that out of there. By the way, you can get a pair of these to redo both windows for like $30. Now, obviously, that's the time of this video, they might go up, but pretty reasonable in the world of expensive. This part gets a little more difficult, a little more tricky. You're going to have to use your fingers. So what I do, I got me an old board because my table doesn't have an overhang. So I put this on my table so I have something that's going to hang over and I can manipulate that triangle window frame better. You just tighten this on here. It doesn't take much, but you kind of got to have something. You got to plan on how you're going to manipulate this thing because you have to push and pull and prod on it quite a bit. This was my plan. Remember that you have this piece on the end that you can hook on that board and allow you to pull on things. You can set it flat. We could clamp it on there as well. We have options. The biggest one is that you can set this on the board and let that triangle hang down. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you get the idea. You have to have this so you can support it on the table. So putting this rubber in, this is the people get tricked and messed up on this. This is where you use your window cleaner. Doesn't matter what kind. It's something that's a little slippery. And you want to start this is tricky, but this is the easiest way I found. Start on this end. Now, if you notice, we cut this off on the other one. This rubber piece is why we cut the tip on that, because it has to go through here. And that rubber keeps this from sliding down later on. I don't think it ever would, but it's how it's designed, and I want to put it in the right way, best I can. So you manipulate this around, it goes right in here. So you kind of got to just slip it through there, work it over, bada boom, bada bing. This rubber piece has to fit up in that track. So this is where your fingers start doing the walking and work. I generally tuck in the far side because it tucks in easy. And then this side you can kind of manipulate and push it in with this plastic piece. That's why I brought this. But you want this rubber up in here to be tight. We'll start getting it here. This isn't the part to worry about. The part you're going to be worried about, we're going to get this riveted back on, And you just keep tucking that rubber piece underneath. Get her worked up in there. This thing should stay on there with no troubles. Now it's a good time to work your rivets in here. Get this put back together so you can start pulling on things. We've got a few pop rivets right here. Pop rivets, all you need. Remember, this is just holding this assembly together. And when you get all done, the window frame of the door screws into these three and really holds that. And then this part goes in the door. So it's not super critical on these pop rivets. You don't have to go buy special bolts or do anything fancy. It's just holding the assembly together until you get it installed. I would think you don't even need that second pop rivet, but we're right here. The manufacturer thought you needed two. Yes, I'm doing one direction, one the other. I'm glad you noticed that. I should have put them both in first. This one, my gun just fits in. But I do it because that rubber piece is in there and I just don't want too much bulk. The bulk on the other side isn't in the way of anything, so this is just what I found best. You can do it whatever way you think's best. There's the second one. Let's get her pulled in. That easy. Now, this is where I'll probably cut the video a few times because it's going to take time. But I will show you the critical parts. Tuck the far side in, get it started and rolling. Just use your tool or a screwdriver, but be aware. You're prying towards your thumb, you're prying towards your hand. You don't want to hurt yourself, so that's why I do the plastic. So I'm going to work this down just a little. Once I get down to the corner, I'll bring it back. But that's all I'm doing, just wiggling this all the way down, and we'll be back in just a second. Okay, I've got this worked down past the notch for the window hinge. Right in this area here somewhere, doesn't matter. Just this next part is probably the most important part of this entire video. This corner is going to use a lot of strength. It's going to be a little bit frustrating, but the little tricks I've learned is this is lined up pretty close. You want to tuck this inside of here as close to where it belongs as possible. Now you see my wrinkle. We're going to make sure we don't have any of these when we get done. Also, I've learned if you put this end in as well, get it started. These two bulges are putting pressure on there. Not a lot, but some. And at this point, every little bit will help. So we're back to my classic. Tuck one side in with your hand. Get up into this part. And then the other side we're going to do with our tool. Might see right here. See how it's not tucked in there yet? We're going to take that tool and push it right up in there. And once it gets in, it's pretty well locked in there. Same thing on this one. We don't want to go too far, right in this area somewhere. Just putting some tension or rubber pressure towards our corner. That's the goal in mind here. So we got that tucked in. It's all the way this direction, tight against the steel where it should be. We got our two bulges. Now for the fun part. I generally work the biggest bulge first and try and get it tucked in, whichever one it is. It's usually this one. And again, we're going to push in one side with your hand. It's going to get more difficult. And keep tucking with this one. We will get that pushed in there, but you want to just push it with your hand. But I've done everything I can do to push on that. I've been on the table. It's so awkward. There's just no real way to get that pushed up in that corner. Grab it, pull it up in there best you can. Lots of lube. Make sure she's sprayed down. That's going to help it slide. And I'm just going to keep working this. I'll bring you guys along for a minute till I need a break. Push and tuck. That's what it's all about. Now, when I tuck, I'm going to be pushing in that direction with my tool. Try and get that worked in there best I can. I should have gloves on, shouldn't I? This isn't real dirty, but I make it look easy. I've done a few of these, folks. The first one you do, you're going to think, wow. I mean, it's not so bad with this procedure, but I remember my first one, it was quite the struggle. Look there, we about got our wrinkle gone already. It's going to get tougher, don't worry. I'm sweating pretty good even with the air on. A lot of force being pushed in there. But we're getting there. We have a wrinkle, so something's not right. Yep, I didn't get the other side. That's okay. This isn't the side I like to work on, but we can get her tucked in. I think we can. Get in there. There we go. A little wrinkle still, but I think that's going to come out. The wavy, wrinkly metal, or excuse me, rubber will give you the clue is that you're going in the right direction or not. So let's peel this back. We're right up in there close. This is a time where I like to do a little pushing up in that corner. Again, it's hard to do, but just to help it slide that way a little bit. Whoop, see, glad it wasn't a screwdriver. Let's keep tucking and pushing. It's going to go. There'll be a point or two where you're going to say, no, it's not going. It'll go. More wrinkle on this side again. Am I tucked or not? Can't tell. But it'll look right when it's finished, or it won't be finished till it looks right. Fun, folks. It's fun. Once you get them done, though, it's really nice. You come by the truck, you won't have a bunch of water in the door. You open your wing window and enjoy it, just knowing that it's all going to seal good. No whistling going down the road. All right, I'm going to keep working this by hand. I'll bring you back when I get to this part. Okay, that was about 10, maybe 15 minutes of tucking and prodding this corner in there. But as you see, I got it right in almost perfect. Not quite perfect, but I still got this little wavy spot there. Remember, this should all lay flat and smooth. If you got a wrinkle, here's why. I don't know how well you can see, but right here, I haven't tucked that rubber in good. Another reason for my table. I can push against my table and get that tucked in there. Again, I can't stress enough. $3 or $4 for one of these. A screwdriver can tend to gouge the rubber. It can certainly gouge your hand. So, cheap insurance. It works well. It's easy to hold on to, all that. Just a little more. I know I'm being picky, but once the window's in, you can't come back. Just a little wavy there. Looks like it's in good. Maybe it just needs a little finessing. My thumbs are about wore out, and yours will be too. Looks pretty good. Smooth on this side. I think I got it. Now, when it gets warm, it'll settle a little more. You just need to make sure all that rubber's tucked in that groove because the heat will never make it go in the groove. It'll just help it settle into its happy place. So we've got it in there. Now the exciting part. Putting the window back in. We might as well finish this off. Now I put it someplace safe. I don't remember where. Oh yeah, it's right here. I'll grab it. So I talked about taking these pop rivets out a couple times. They're not critical to holding the window together. It's just holding the assembly together. This is one of the actual bolts that goes through your door frame. So that's going to hold the window in. Right now we're looking at thinking ahead. Window's going to go in. We're going to have to slide those washers, and I got it all here in a baggie. The washers and the spring and everything back on. So I like to put a little lube on there, whatever you like, doesn't matter. Just something to keep this wet. Hope it slide together better. All right. This is tricky. Trying to remember how it goes. Because the window's going to shut and lock. So that's the way I want to do it. Tuck it in this way. You'll figure it out. It's just playing with it. Back to this. Don't forget your washers. A lot of people forget to order. Easy to do. These go on the end. Well, there. Oh, I forgot a part. You guys almost let me forget a part. It's not your fault. I got ahead of myself. We got to put this part in. Just a rubber stopper. Now you might say, well, which way does it go? I don't remember. Well, if you look in here, there's a pocket way down in this end. And this track fits in that pocket. Am I showing you that? That'll tell you the direction that it goes in. Same thing with the other end. Once you get that pushed in that pocket, I'll slide it in there right now. Making sure the rubber's not tucked or hitting on anything. Everything just kind of interlaces with each other. And then this other end, I usually bowl, make an arch in it, and tuck it inside of this end. Right in here. And then it'll settle in there. Now, tricky part, pop rivets. Which way do you go? Well, you'd like to go this way, but you don't want that big knob on this side. So I go this direction. The track is way more forgiving than this window will be. So if you start, I usually start in the middle, let's pressing those that way. And what I want to do is get all these pushed in and through the metal before I go pop riveting it. We're back to the age old leave your bolts loose. That way you got a little bit of movement. Oh, those are tight. Yeah, it'll go. More finger pushing. I'm going to use the tool to help me push it in there. Now these three on this end will be fairly easy to do. Yeah, I say that. Look, I'm having trouble. I'm not against cheating. It ain't gonna matter. It'll be fine. Just gotta give it a little more room for my pop rivets. My pop rivets might be too big. Again, the back holes are big, so if you try to go with a small pop rivet, once you get it in there, it might not hold. I think I've drilled these out on one before. Just make them a touch bigger. I don't know what size it is. Don't even ask. Now I got to put this back together. Get in there. Tuck this in. Looking good. Where'd my pop rivet go? Now they should go in a little easier. No, yeah. My fingers are wore out. Are you kidding me? I'm lined up, aren't I? I think I am. These are a struggle the whole way. I know you can't see. I'm sorry. Get in there. I thought I'd do one with you. You don't look like I'm going to do any. Might have to do a jump cut or something. I think I'm there. Yeah, it's getting there. Oh, everything's just a struggle with this thing. I'm not quite through my hole yet. I can see it peeking through, but it's not pushed in where it needs to be. This one has a little bigger head on it. You could go with a smaller head. It's not going to matter once you get it tight, but probably a smaller headed pop rivet would have been better if I'm being honest. We're in there now. I'm doing it. You can always drill it back out, right? Yeah, I know. I need a new pop rivet gun. Now, if there's a little too proud for you when you're all done, you can put this on a track of some sort. I have one on my bench, and you can tap them down further, but they look like they're behind that seal enough for me. See if we can do the other three real quick. If not, I'll bring you back. See how much struggle I get. Oh, that one seems like that went fine. I might as well take you up to the front one and show you how I do that one. I actually go from the other side. I don't like it, but you'll see in a minute. You can't get in there. Let's do this third one and put the window in, and we'll call her a day. We'll have her done. That one went in pretty good. Yes, I'm a little bit of an angle. Not much I can do about it. But they're in there tight. Now the last one, you're never going to get your gun, pop rivet gun, up in here. Not going to happen. Even though these are all nice and smooth down in there, this one's going to have to be from this side, which isn't a problem because you're up here in the corner where the window just tips away and goes back. So I've never had an issue with it. I think I normally hammer them down because I'm paranoid, but I'll come through this side, making sure we get through the rubber on the other side. Now, my pop rubber gun's pretty classic. It's an MIT, and it just barely goes in there, but it fits. I've done it before. See if we can get that one through. When in doubt, alignment, get it kind of aligned in there better, maybe. Again, my fingers are just toast. Where'd they go? Up here. Get in there. All right, I can see the metal poking through. Maybe a little more wouldn't hurt. But when you pull that pop rivet gun, it should go in there. If not, you can do it twice. I'm not quite happy with that. I think I need just a little more, and I don't know how to get it a little more. This one's kind of fighting me a little. I'm not surprised. I want her seated. She's really close. Close ain't good enough. I'm not chancing it. Oh, she's in there tight. I take it back. I was gonna just push the drill through there one more time, but I think that's set in there good now. Let's give her a whirl. What's gonna happen? What's the worst gonna happen? I gotta drill it out again? Oh, it pulled. I felt it. All right. Did it. And it's got less of a bump than these, to be honest with you. Would have been fine either direction, I guess. That just makes me feel better. Let's get that window in. Oh, I gotta remember again. This is on what, the outside? It hinges out, comes back in. All right, so first washer, this funny thing. The square goes towards the tip. It goes on first. You know, weasel it up underneath there. Now I say it goes to the front, but with your window slightly open, it'll be just a little off center. But that's fine. After that washer, you put just that's the one with the hole in it, the square in the middle. Then you just put a regular washer behind that. And kind of get that window wiggle. Look at that. I didn't go bad. Making sure your hinge is going to be on the right side. There we go, on the outside. And then the rest of this is just the spring. Now, I don't know technically best way to tighten this, how much it needs to be tightened. You just want some tension on it. It keeps your window from flopping around when it's open. So you do want tension, but you don't want to just bear this all the way down as tight as it'll go. So it's a feel thing. I guess If you really wanted to be technical with this, somebody could have counted how many turns when they took it apart. It'll be fine. I have touch there, but there's no real pressure on it. I'll go a couple more rounds. We don't have that many threads on there anyway. It's a feel. It's a look. It's a guess thing. That's probably enough. I'll go a little tighter. You can even try it. Now, our hinge isn't hooked, but you can kind of give it a turn and see how it swivels. Oh, yeah. It's got a little resistance, don't it? Hear it? Might be too tight. But we're going to lube this too before we're all done. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to leave it there. Our tabs are not really lined up with the bolt. So being that I thought it might be tight, let's just go back with it a little bit until our tabs line up. And then you can hammer on these, but they bend by hand as well. But it's just, I don't really like hammering on something with glass, but they bend real easy. Bend those tabs over. It's like a lock washer. It keeps that nut from coming off. Now we're together. A little lube when I'm done, I guess. I never had one make the squeaky noise. So we're on to the last part of this window. We're all done, folks. We got to get the hinge put back in. So I have clamped this to the table before to help me, but being that you guys are right here watching, I kind of want to knock this out real quick. Get a couple of rivets, get our alignment tool, get these. This shouldn't be bad. The rubber has holes already drilled in it. I don't know if they're lined up, but they must be because the outside rubber is all lined up good. Yep, we're in good shape. Good spot. Let's just see how it goes. Where'd it go? Lots of room between this and your window, so there's nothing to worry about. Get her wiggled in there. Yeah, I don't want to go. Go figure. Lots of fiddling. If you like to fiddle with stuff, this is definitely a fiddling job. But I got my handy dandy drill. Just go a little tiny bit with it. Might as well do both. Now we're going to go right in. Now I'm not going to go all the way with it. I just want to give it a bite or two. Before we tighten too much, let's get the other one in there. Once that's tight, it'll still go, but just for alignment purposes, it's way easier. All right. 2 pop rivets and we're finished. I don't know if that's a word. See what we got. Our window's done. Just like that. All the rubber's in good shape. Let's open it. I'll probably make that squeaky noise. A little bit. And we'll try and close her up right here on camera. Make sure everything worked well. It didn't. What do we got going? That's on the outside. That's right. What did I do wrong? Nothing. Yeah, she's good. Just got to be worked a couple times. Once all that gets seated good, it'll close up. Might be my corners a little tight still. I might work that down some. Nothing's locked in, so I can still work my corner down. You see, I'm pretty close here. This shouldn't have to force this shut. We're just a little off. Everything else looks pretty good. I'm going to tuck that corner in some more, and we're going to be good to go. And we're all done. So Not a horrible, hateful job, just a lot of work, time consuming. And there it is.